Okay, so let's talk about a man so strategic, so absolutely ruthless, that one single insult gave him the fuel to not just topple a king, but to build an entire empire. We're going to dive into exactly how he pulled it off, using his mind as his ultimate weapon. So, how did one scholar, who was publicly scorned, manage to build ancient India's greatest empire? Well, today, we're unpacking the mind of the legendary strategist Chanakya. This is the story of the kingmaker who answered that very question by completely rewriting the rules of power. All right, so to really get this, we've got to go back. Picture this. It's about 2,300 years ago. The land is being threatened by foreign invaders, and it's ruled by a super corrupt dynasty. I mean, the stage was just perfectly set for some dramatic change. And you can see it right here. It's like a perfect storm brewing. You've got this huge external threat, Alexander the Great, knocking on the door. Then internally, the Nanda dynasty is basically rotting from the inside out with corruption. And then bam, right in the middle of all that chaos, one single personal insult lights the fuse for a revolution. And let me tell you, this was way more than just a guy getting angry. When King Nanda humiliated him in public, Chanakya makes this incredibly dramatic vow about his shika. That's the traditional top knot that scholars wore. He swore he would leave it unknotted, which was a huge deal. He was essentially making this very visible, very public statement. This wasn't just blind rage. No, this was a cold, calculated plan for a total revolution.
Okay, so how on earth does a personal vow turn into an entire empire? Well, this is where Chanakya's genius strategy really kicks into high gear.
And what's so fascinating is that Chanakya just completely ignored the whole idea of royal bloodlines. He didn't care about pedigree. He knew that birthright meant absolutely nothing without actual talent. So he goes out and finds this guy, Chandragupta, a courageous, smart young man, but the son of a maidservant. This proved that for Chanakya, true power came from merit, from what you could do, not where you came from. And just look at how ridiculously effective his strategy was. I mean, this wasn't some slow burn rebellion. This was a swift, total takeover, all orchestrated from the shadows. He engineered the end of the Nanda dynasty, rallied the people, defeated the last of Alexander's forces, and united this massive fractured subcontinent. He didn't just win. He created the Mauryan Empire, the largest the world had seen at that time. So you have to be wondering, what was the secret weapon behind all this? It wasn't just about swords and soldiers. Not at all. It was a revolutionary political philosophy, a kind of code for power, and it's known as the Niti-Shastra.
Okay, so the best way to think about the Niti-Shastra is, well, don't think of it as some lofty philosophical text. It's more like a ruthless, down-and-dirty playbook for the real world. It's basically a masterclass in political strategy and common sense, all laser-focused on one thing: how to get power, and maybe even more important, how to keep it. And this right here, this gets to the absolute core of his philosophy. On one side, you've got idealism, high moral principles, believing in the goodness of people, trying to avoid conflict. But Chanakya, his view is pure, hardcore realism. He starts with the assumption that people are driven by self-interest, period. And conflict, that's not something to avoid, it's a tool you use. For him, it was never about being morally pure, it was about winning. He taught that you always have to be wary of hidden enemies. Check out this quote. "Avoid him who talks sweetly before you, but tries to ruin you behind your back, for he is like a pitcher of poison with milk on top." Wow. He used these incredibly vivid metaphors to make his lessons stick, and honestly, that warning about deception feels like it could have been written yesterday. So when it came to loyalty, Chanakya's rule was simple. Trust is never, ever given freely. It has to be earned. And how do you test it? You put people under pressure. He taught that you test a servant on duty, a relative when you're in trouble, a friend during hard times, and a wife during misfortune. He believed the only way to see someone's true colors was to see how they act when things get really, really tough. Okay, now we have to be real here. The Niti-Shastra is absolutely a product of its time. And that means it has a lot of stuff in it, maxims about women, about social hierarchy, that are pretty jarring to us today. I mean, they're deeply unsettling. Now, of course, we're not endorsing these views, but it's important to see them because they give us this direct, unfiltered window into what the social and political world was actually like back then. Chanakya was interesting because he believed wisdom wasn't just hiding in dusty old texts. He thought it was everywhere, especially in nature. He actually argued that great leaders should learn key traits just by watching animals. And he really saw lessons everywhere. Think about it. From a lion, you learn to act with total, wholehearted effort. From a crane, you learn to control your senses and know the right time and place to act. A crow teaches you to be watchful and not to trust too easily. And a dog, fierce loyalty. It's this amazing idea that you can learn strategy, discipline, the whole shebang, just by paying attention to the world around you. All right, so after all this, what's the big takeaway? What makes Chanakya's teachings still feel so relevant after centuries? It all boils down to one thing: a philosophy of ruthless, cunning pragmatism. And this one quote, man, it just says it all. Do not be very upright in your dealings. Straight trees are cut down while crooked ones are left standing. For Chanakya, pure idealism just makes you a target. He believed that to survive in a dangerous world, you have to be flexible, you have to be adaptable, and yeah, maybe even a little bit crooked. Being too straight and predictable, well, that just gets you cut down. So when you boil it all down, you get these key takeaways. Be pragmatic, because that's what leads to survival, not pure morality. Understand that strategy and knowledge, that's the ultimate power. Never, ever give trust blindly. Always test people. And while you should prepare for the worst, you have to act decisively when the moment is right. And finally, secrecy is key. As he said, do not reveal what you have thought upon doing. These principles, they highlight this timeless struggle between doing what's right and doing what works. And that debate is still raging today in politics, in business, everywhere. Which leaves us with the big question, right? Is Chanakya's unflinching pragmatism an essential guide for any leader? Or is it a timeless warning about what happens when you let ambition totally take over? It's a powerful reminder that greatness and the power that comes with it, well, it almost always comes with a price.